Welcome back to our second count right here on Reffing It Up. I am honored to welcome in former TNA, former WWE superstar, Mr. Ken Anderson. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Great to see you all.
Welcome to the show, Michael. I really am so appreciative that you're here. And
I,
for you, and for 1 second, and I know you're going to rebuttal me on that. I'll just hold on 1 second, Larry. Um, so for you fans out there listening, if you hear me and him call each other different names, that's because that's what we do. That's just what we do. If I slip up and call him by his real name, I'm gonna be pissed. But anyway,
Just
Michael,
don't call.
welcome.
Just don't call him Shirley.
Well, you just don't call him Earl.
Well,
Oh,
surely
okay.
you can't be serious.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
call me Shirley.
Earl, welcome
Great,
to the
great,
show.
great show.
Thanks for sorry to butt in here, but thanks for explaining it, Brian, because I thought you were having some issues over there.
Me and him do have issues.
Okay.
we go way back with the issues.
Yes, way back. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, Validity. Appreciate that.
So I want to open. I want to open up. I want to go to your school, man. That's one of your main things right now. How's that thing going? It seems like it's going marvelously.
Yeah, really, really well, man. I couldn't be happier with the setup that we have. I think we got a great program. We have what's developed into like a family over the past. We've been open since 2016, which is crazy to think we're going on like 9 years of training people. We still have the first graduate still comes to class on a regular basis. And that's I really feel strongly about keeping people around. I'm still learning. I've been doing this for 25 years and I'm still learning. On a daily basis almost. So I encourage my students to once they've graduated, once they're doing shows on a regular basis, still come. And it just goes to show like Darius Martin, who's on TV every week or every other week for AEW, is still coming, sometimes more than any of the other students. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
So, Ken, let me ask you a question. With the way wrestling has evolved, where it's more, I don't know, man, to me dangerous. But flippy floppy. Jimmy, please go ahead with the
The high risk twisting burning 450 hammer phoenix splash.
yes, that. Do you still go with just the basics? Because obviously you were not a high flyer. Um, is that how you go about it, or is it difficult now because all these kids want to come in and jump off the top rope and stuff?
No, I allow them to get there on their own, but I make it a point. Day one, that's not what we're after. We're gonna teach storytelling, and I'm a big believer in fundamentals. So those guys that have been coming for years and years, we're still working on basics. We're doing drills that are, tackle drills, tackle drop down, get it again, headlock drills, and just I, I really, really feel like this is way harder than people think it is.
Absolutely.
Like you watch it on TV and we make it look easy, and it's because we have put in so much time behind the scenes and reps and reps and reps, and we do it over and over and over again. I just feel like that's super important. I've heard Triple H on a pod. He did a podcast with Logan Paul a couple of years ago, and he was like, "The moves don't matter," which is a weird thing to think because it's pro wrestling, right? It's like it goes against your you're fighting your own brain, right? When you say this, but like the moves don't mean anything. It's what we do in between those moves.
Makes a lot of sense, though.
Mhm. Does make sense. And like for you, for example, in your school, what is it like when somebody first walks into the school and they want to start their first day? What's the first thing you tend to tell them, or what is the first question they ask automatically that you
Or
have to
before
kind
you,
of like,
or actually, Jimmy, I want to add to that. Before you take their money, what is it you want
yes.
them to understand? What is it that you tell them?
I want them to sit in on at least a class and make sure that this is something that they want to do, that it's a good fit. And honestly, I believe that allowing people to do that, letting people sit in on an entire class, and sometimes, that class is 3 hours long and there's a ton of like information that ends up being free information to these people. Like I'm happy to give it because yeah, I want to make sure that I'm not just taking people's money. I want people that are there because they want to be, not because I suckered them into and I got them to sign on the line and send me their money right away. This for me, obviously, it's a business. I have to put food on my table, but it's not a money grab. It really isn't. I want to teach people. I want people to experience the really awesome stuff that we have been able to experience. That's really what I'm after.
And how is that? How
But
has your training, the way you train, evolved over time? Like obviously, like you said, you continuously learn. We all do. Everybody that's been
yeah,
in this business, nobody knows it all, and we never will. But how has your method of training others evolved over time?
I'm much more patient than I was 6 years ago. I used to like the old students, the students that were with me 6, 7 years ago. Like they always talk about me throwing my hat. That was a big like every once in a while, like I'd snap. Um, every once in a while, I heard Booker T say something one time. It was so funny. He said, "Sometimes I like to get mad." Right? Like sometimes it's just like cleansing. You gotta like, hey, pay attention. Um, but there's less of that, and I'm able to sort of meet people where they're at. Normally, for the most part, when people aren't getting it, it's not because they don't want to get it. It's because it's really hard and everybody learns at a different pace.
Hmm.
And so it's trying to figure out what motivates different people. And also, I find that when I was frustrated, I look back and say, like, when I was frustrated and mad, I was actually mad at myself for not being able to figure out, like, what am I not doing? How am I not? And what do I need to do differently to send this message? And sometimes it ends up being, we've done tons of seminars and somebody will come in and they'll basically like, I'll be sitting there, like they'll say something and I'll look at my wife like, yeah, it's vindication. Like that's what I've been telling them. Like I told them that, and then I'll ask people, what was your best takeaway? What was your favorite takeaway? And they'll say something that like I have been trying to hammer into their heads for years. They'll be like, "Oh, when they told me this," and I'd be like, it's almost like I can't believe what I'm hearing. But it's everybody's got a slightly different way of teaching and conveying that information, and I'll take it. One of the things, Jimmy, what you asked me earlier, like what they can expect on day one. Um, I go over the commandments right away. I have a list of things that, uh, number one, safety. Safety is the most important thing. This is a dangerous business. We are trusting each other with our bodies and uh, Philip, if I pick you up and, you are hoping and trusting that I am going to return you to the earth safely in one piece. So that is a big thing. Also, just don't be a dick. My second rule, and it would be number one, just don't be a dick. Like
Right.
we, one of the cool things about pro wrestling is it is the most diverse group of people that I've ever been around. Like you get people from all walks of life that love wrestling. You've got nerds and jocks and just everything in between.
Hmm.
Um, so just trying to help each other out. And also like one of the most important things that I was told on day one by my trainer was be careful, uh, be careful who you step on your way to the top, because those are the same people that you're going to bump into on your way back down.
Yep.
You know,
So
Let me ask one more thing real quick. Jamar, um, I don't know if you remember this. I hope you do, because it meant a lot to me. I know that you're in a good place in your life, because last year at some point, I don't remember what it was last year, you text me out of nowhere just to say, how are you doing? Miss hanging out, miss seeing you. Not that you are not always a great person. I'm not saying that, but it takes, you know how this business goes. You don't forget, but you just kind of push and move forward. And the close relationships that you had while in the business aren't there, just because life is life and we're not on the road. It's your home. First of all, I want to say I appreciate that. And I did tell you I appreciate it. But what made you do it? Like, was this a day where in your mind you just wanted to reach out to people and or was it me in particular? I mean, was it just you changing and being happy? And I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I think it's something that I've always tried to do. I'm not good at it. I've got ADHD. I have a terrible memory. I think it was probably something where I saw a video with you or caught an interview that you did, and I just like, I miss you. Like, I miss hanging out. Like, I feel that way with so many people, you know, Jimmy included. Like, uh, we're around each other so much. It's like we were around each other more than we were around our actual families.
Yes.
We were especially when we were on the road with WWE, even
Yep.
TNA, it's 4 or 5 days a week. And then it just stopped. So like you said, it's not, I heard my wife says something about like, good friendships aren't like gardens that they need to be tended to every day. They're more like forests, right? Like I could go 4 years without hearing a single word from you, but I know that we're cool.
Right.
And I know that the minute we bump into each other or we're on a show together or we do something like this, it's like, Randolph, how the freak are you, man?
I'm wonderful. Wonderful.
Can we swear? Do we swear on this or not?
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck. My stress level, my blood pressure just like dropped a little bit.
Yeah, you're good, man.
So dealing with having students and school and all that stuff, I know that you in your career you always kind of I know we've all done that in our careers. We look and say, oh man, I'm proud of where I've accomplished, what I've come, the levels I've you took to the next level. But when you're dealing with that, being a teacher and teaching these students, how is it like what is it, how different is it to say, hey, yes, I've accomplished this, but now you watch someone else that you've trained from the ground up now accomplish something, whether it's just being able to walk through a match and tell a story, or let alone have a spot, on an extra spot on WWE or TNA or wherever. Like, what is that like compared to your own career?
It's just as rewarding, just rewarding in a different way, I guess. And to me, that's the dream. That was when I thought about opening up a wrestling school. That was the vision. It's like, I have done so many cool things, like I always say, I grew up in a town of 19,000 people. Never thought I was going to, didn't know what I was going to be a lifer at the nuclear power plant, Um, and I've just been able to experience it standing in the ring and then having the lights go out in Oklahoma City and hearing the gong for the first time. And I'm standing there going like, how the fuck did
Right.
I get here? Like I want my students to have those experiences and then, but also it doesn't have to be that. I get just as much reward out of like there's students that I have that are WWE or bust. When they come in, I always on day one ask them, what do you expect to get out of this business? And some people tell me, I want to go to Japan. I want to wrestle in Mexico. Other people are like, I just want to hang out and exercise and have fun. I love wrestling. This is just something that I've always wanted to do. And so when those people experience those types of things, like I had a guy who he was like in his late 30s. He was an attorney at one of the biggest firms in the Twin Cities. And he saw the local news affiliate did a piece on our school back in like, it was like 2017. And he saw it and his wife was like, do it. You have to do it. Like you've always wanted something you've always wanted to do. So you came in on day one. He said, I just want to have a match. I want to have a match in front of people and I want to invite like, some of my other attorney friends. And so he did. He trained for 6 months. He did that. Um, he and then he had a year-long career. He wrestled every other weekend, maybe sometimes twice. So he'd wrestle up to like 4 or 5 times a month for 1 year, and then he hung it up. And he said, like, he's got on his wall in his office is his graduation certificate, and that's just as, if not more important to him than his when he passed the bar.
That's amazing.
So, like,
That's funny.
stuff like that, that's rewarding to me.
So you started when you got down to OVW, when you got signed with WWE. A certain man that's all over WWE TV right now, Paul Heyman, took a liking to you earlier on, comparing your voice to The Rock, Stone Cold, a lot of that promo-esque that you came to be known for.
Mhm.
How how impactful was that to have Paul Heyman with all, even leading up to there, not so much after the fact, but leading up to that with ECW when he came over with the invasion, stuff like that. How important was that to you, and seeing what he's doing currently as well?
I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for Paul Heyman. And it was everything, it was like I still have that sort of pinch me, can't believe that happened to me, where for years I ground my wheels, I ground my gears trying to figure out the formula. What is it going to take? How are they going to see me? And I would go and I would do tryouts or dark matches or, enhancement matches for WWE. And I wouldn't hear any. The worst part about the wrestling business is, you're waiting for feedback of some sort and you get nothing. You don't hear anything. It's just complete radio silence. And so just trying to figure that out, and then going to OVW, and Paul would come down every 2 months. He would come down and do a 2-day promo class where we would go in on day one, cut a promo. He would critique it. It would just be you, Paul, and a camera. You cut that promo. He would critique it. You'd go home, work on it, and then go back the next day and cut it again. And always on day two, he always had great feedback for me and constructive criticism on day one. Day two, I'd cut the promo and he would go, all right, thank you. And I'd be like, is there anything else? Like, any feedback? Nope, thank you. Loved it. And I was like, well, this guy fucking hates me. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's got to be something, right? Like I always felt like he can't wait to get rid of me. So and then on day one, he came in, Jim Cornette, paintbrushed Santino Marella 5 feet away from me,
Ooh.
and got fired for it. And he came in, and I remember getting to the building early, and he pulled me into a room. He said, I need to talk to you. And he pulled me into a room and he said, I have been a fan of yours since I met you. We had met, I was doing extra work for WWE, and he saw me in the ring, and like made a point to like pull me aside then and ask me, some questions, and he really gave me some good advice and talked to me. And then he's like, and I've been a fan of yours. I've been watching your progress down here, and I love your promos. And I'm gonna do so much stuff with you over the course of the next few weeks that you're gonna get called up. You're the next guy out of here. And I was like, okay. And you guys believe half of what you hear, or what is it? Half of what you see and none of what you hear. Because people always like overpromise and underdeliver. And so I tried not to get excited about it. And that night one, OVW programming was, I believe it was like an hour, which works out to be, what is that, 54 minutes
Yeah, something like that.
with commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
44, 54, yeah.
What is it?
I think it's 44 because of the commercials.
Is
You gotta
that?
do
Yeah,
every
yeah,
quarter
44.
has to have a
Yeah, you're right.
commercial.
Because a
whatever.
30-minute show is 22 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So 44 minutes, I was probably involved in 28 minutes out of that 44-minute program.
Wow.
And he held true to his word, and he gave me so many cool opportunities to really like show my character. And 5 weeks later, I got a call from Dreamer. They would like to see you at TV this week.
Oh, he was excited about it then.
Right.
That's excited for Tommy.
And they want you to do your gimmick.
Speaking
right?
so
That's Tommy excited, right? That's him like
it is.
That's the equivalent of Tommy doing backflips.
So Trevor, how did you come up with the mic drop gimmick? How'd that come about? Was that you? Please say it was you. Come on.
So it kind of was. I used to announce basketball games when I was in high school.
I did too, by the way.
Did you really?
I swear to God. Varsity.
That's amazing. And I somewhere along the way, like I was trying to be Michael Buffer, because Michael Buffer was the big shit at the time. And I remember somebody was like, you should do the names like they used to do the old boxing, and and they did it. It was the last name twice, and so I started doing that just for our players. I'd be like, so I would say like we were the Two Rivers Raiders. I'd be like from Chilton, standing 6'1", Bob Evans, and from Two Rivers, we're 6'1" at center, Jose Luis Garcia. I'd make it big, and I got out of high school, completely forgot that I had ever done that. Got down to OVW. Paul Heyman, on my like third or fourth week of him writing for me, he said, it was probably my third week. He said, go out there tonight, cut the ring announcer off, cuss him out, dress him down, and then you do your own introduction and make it big. And so when I was in the moment on the day, live in front of that house, it just dawned on me to hit my last name twice. And so I did. And when I came back through the curtain, like I said, I'd been doing a lot on TV, 20, 30 minutes each episode. And I came back through the curtain and everybody was like, that's it. When the boys pop for something, you're onto something.
Yeah.
And that was the response that I was getting backstage.
It's kind of crazy how things morph, though. You know what I mean? Just like come together.
Yep. Yeah, it was just like a series of random things that just kind of all worked their way together.
Mm-hmm.
And had one of those things not occurred, we wouldn't be having this discussion. It's just nuts.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you got a lot, you owe that a lot to Paul Heyman, that obviously, as you said. And I'm not trying to make this about Paul, but I have a weird question because it just popped into my head when you were talking about your relationship with Paul and how how he helped you out and helped others out. He's being credited with having one of the best minds in the industry. When ECW started to take off, hypothetically speaking, if Paul Heyman had someone like a Tony Khan's money or bankroll,
Yep.
how different do you think things would be today?
See, I don't know. I feel like part of the success of ECW was the fact that they were forced to claw on straight.
Mm,
You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I do.
right, right.
Had
I do.
he had the bankroll, he might not have put as much of his own love
Mm,
into baking that cake.
gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does.
So how was, speaking of morph, how was transitioning from Kennedy to Anderson? That must have been something. I mean, because you obviously lost your name once you left WWE, and then I guess figure something else out, right? Was that difficult? Because I know when we used to do house shows, I remember the best thing you would ever do was get ready to say the WWE name, Mister, and everybody would say it. You go, you know, it's cut yourself off, and they go. It was fabulous. But was that a hard transition or no?
No, really, I I honestly didn't change anything other than the name. It was kind of hard for me to, it's funny because like on the day that they made me change my name from Anderson to Kennedy, I was like, please don't say Anderson, don't say Anderson, don't say, we're
Mm,
live.
So that came out more
And
natural.
then and then it flipped when I was debuting at TNA. But at TNA, I actually did the cut like intentionally, so
mhm.
I didn't have to worry about it as much. But it's kind of funny because people would oftentimes walk up to me and like fans and say, "Man, I really, I liked you a lot better as Kennedy." And I'm like, I didn't, nothing changed. Like
Mhm.
my, my name changed. That was it. I guess if anything, when I got to TNA, I was allowed to do the stuff that I wanted to do when I was at WWE and I wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And it's not sour. I'm not complaining about it. It was just the way things were at WWE. They're very, very hands-on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They want you to do things a certain way, and your input is only so welcome over there. Whereas when I was at TNA, it was like, I remember sitting down with Eric Bischoff right away, and he said, "We're going to hand you a script. Sometimes it'll be written out in its entirety. Just know those are just bullet points there. You know, the main points, that's what we want you to hit. But however you get to it, you get to it."
So let me ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be elongated here, but when I left WWE, I had a very very hard time with bitterness. I really did.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll say to this day that when I got to TNA, which was not really something I was really looking forward to at all, because I was just still really bitter about the business, but it gave me my love back. And when like you were there is what I'm talking about. Um, the locker room, the environment, everything for me was so heartfelt to me. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't that machine. You know what I mean? It was a more freeway for us to really be ourselves backstage and to be loose and the things like that. Did you feel that way? Because I really feel like it captured back the love I have for wrestling. And I will say this: I would have much rather, and you'll think I'm ridiculous. I'm very blessed to have went to WWE, but I wished more of my years of wrestling would have been in TNA, especially during that time. How do you feel?
Exactly that way. Um, I was so bitter and so angry about not just, I mean, the way that I left and the way things ended up. I was pissed
Mhm.
and I had a chip on my shoulder probably up until 2 years ago. Like to be honest, like, yeah, I was, it just, really, really pissed off. And I will say that as cool as things were, as cool as things were in the locker room at TNA and the freedom that they gave me creatively, I still feel like I didn't love it. I wasn't passionate about it. And there's a number of different reasons why, again, that bitterness, um, you know, being with somebody that doesn't like wrestling, like, and that like sort of, that's a huge, huge, if you're not with your partner isn't completely committed to you doing this and loving it, it's really, really hard to, it's, like, um,
Well,
there were
you
tons
can't.
of,
Can you? Oh shoot! Sorry. I mean Mario. Um, the thing is, you can't
don't you
be
ever call
happy.
me that again.
Yes, sir. I apologize. Sorry, Keith. Um, but you can't be happy if they're not. And I totally get what you're saying. If they're not happy with what you're doing or even understand why you're happy with what you're doing, how can you be happy?
And they would point out the, this is messed up with the business and this is messed up with the business. And you try to get along when you're with your partner, like you want to, like, we have to get along, right? Like we're kind of stuck here. So you do what you can to try to get along. And so like I think there was a lot of things um, that I looked at like that's fucked up about the business, and this is fucked up about the business. And I don't think I would have been as um, I went from this is my dream job, this is something that I love to do, this is my life, to this is a job, I'm punching the clock,
Yep.
which is wild for me to say that now, looking back on it. Like looking at the opportunities that I had, and it's fucking crazy for me to say that I was just punching the clock, but I sort of was.
I get it. Totally get it.
Mhm.
Ken, we talked about, your time in TNA, your time in WWE, your training. You go online, you're not, if the internet's always true, there's facts out there. If you see it on the internet, it's true. There's no, nothing says retirement. Nothing says you hung them up yet. You look, all the videos and pictures that I've seen personally, I can't speak for the boys, but you're in great shape. You're in good shape mentally. Um, you got one, two left in you, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, I just, after a 9-year hiatus, made my return to TNA. And, I'm
Whoa, whoa,
full
whoa,
dis
whoa. You did what?
yeah, full disclosure. This was TNA was in Minneapolis, and it made sense. I reached out to a bunch of people. I connected with a bunch of, like I crossed paths with Matt Hardy and Nick Nemeth and a couple other Tommy, and you know just hey, I'm interested in doing anything if there's a spot for me. And it turns out there was. So I was able to work here. And here's the best part about it. 2 weeks ago, we had the kids, and my daughter said to me, Dad, I want to see you. Like, I think you should go work for one of those big companies again. Like I want to see you work for WWE or TNA. And I knew that it was going to happen, and I just bit my lip,
Mm.
Oh,
didn't want to tell her. So we ended up having them 2 weeks in a row, which is never happens. But we had them 2 weeks in a row, 2 weekends in a row, and I was at the show. My wife and my mom picked the kids up from school. They live 2.5 hours away. Brought them here and said, they're like, "Where's Dad?" Well, we're gonna go to a wrestling show tonight, and Dad's gonna come and sit with us, but he's got some other stuff he has to take care of first.
Mm.
So they got, they got seated, and I ended up being we did a promo segment, and then we did a match later on. And so I posted it on all my social medias. Turns out my daughter loves like hanging out at wrestling shows. She went and she was on that ramp all night long. My son was sitting um in the middle of the aisle for pretty much most of the night. And Frankie Kazarian, the segment that I did, Frankie, said, I'm not going to announce this guy. I'll let him do it himself. And then they hit my music, and the reaction video that my wife got was my son's reaction to. She said, "It's your dad," and he turned around and he was like, "What?" And then his reaction is just priceless.
That is so cool. That is so
And
cool.
came out. I saw my daughter on the ramp right away. I saw my son right away, and my wife and my mom, and then saw my daughter on the ramp, kissed her on the forehead, said I love you, went to the ring. So that was just really, really awesome for me personally.
And sorry, guys, I may have known that. I just kayfabed y'all. So
You're the best at it, Earl.
hey, speaking of Earl, there he is right there.
Oh God, put him down. Put him down.
Oh,
Yeah, Daniel's mentor. Yes.
Hey, William, you mentioned something earlier about having patience, learning that patience with the kids at school in your class. You know what though? And I think you'll agree with this. I was an extremely impatient person for a long, long time, most of my life actually. But I can tell you what changed that for you. And I think you'll realize that it's called kids, your own.
yeah. Yeah.
I sometimes can't believe the stuff that I'm able to put up with and don't just go the fuck off. And I don't anymore. I just don't. I talk to them calmly. I say, why are you doing this stupid shit? Why are you saying this fucked up stuff? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get crazy anymore. And
Yeah.
it scares people that know me. They're like, what happened to you? And I'm like, nothing, bro. I grew up. I grew up. So I want to compliment you on that because it's hard when we're stuck in a way for most of our lives. I think what it takes is kids to straighten your ass up, you know?
It really, you're 100% right. Um, and I now that you say that, I can see that there were like when I talk to my kids, when they do something that I don't like, or we have, a conversation that isn't going the way, I find that like I'm able to calm down and think. I'm able to empathize with them. I remember what it was like in their shoes. And I remember when, my parents would say, like, because I said so, fucking drove me insane. And I try to treat them the way that I wish I had been treated. And I'm not saying that like I was treated, I had a great childhood with my mother, at least. Um,
You have to understand this too. And I tell people this a lot. And then, Jamar, we'll get you out of here, buddy. But you know, not that my dad was a bad dad. He just wasn't around. The schedule didn't allow him. So there was so much stuff that was missed that I needed as a dad that wasn't there. And it wasn't to his fault because if he wasn't doing what he was doing, I wouldn't have been able to eat
right.
and have the things I have in life. You know what I mean? So I think that, like you're saying, taught me actually how to be a good dad. I really think that the things that I missed, the things that I didn't get, are the things now that I employ for my kids. And the reason why I got out of the business is because of my kids. It had nothing to do with anything. It was time for me to go. I have twin daughters. I have a son that I'm not so much worried about. Not that he doesn't matter. He's 22 years old. My girls are twins. And
Yeah.
when I got out of the business, they were 14. And I know that girls need daddies a little bit more than boys do. Not that the boys don't, and some boys do need them just as much. But generally, you're going to find most girls need their daddy, someone to look up to, someone to feel confident, someone to know that you're tough. You take up for them. And I just felt like I'm tired of missing all their stuff. I'm tired of not being here when it's important. I thank God I'm financially okay. I can do this, and that's what made me do it. So I commend you 100%, man, and really feel your story. I really do. It's awesome to hear.
That's amazing to hear you say that. Like, it's very, like you said, you grew up, like kids force you to look at everything differently.
Everything. I went to King's Dominion the other day. I don't know if you know what that is. It's an amusement park. Okay. You know how many rides I rode? One. And that was the one that had swings that don't go high at all and they just swim around. Because I was so afraid of falling off and dying. I was just like, I'm not going way up there to be riding that thing. I'm not
Yep.
doing it. Everything changes. The way I drive has changed now. I don't
Oh, yeah.
go around like
Yep.
a hellion. You know what I mean? Like I'm in NASCAR. I go around like an old man now and I stop at the signals full, look both ways, go,
Yep.
just the normal shit
Yep.
you're supposed to do. But
Somebody
it's crazy.
clips you off and you just go like, sorry.
Yep. I don't want you to shoot me. Don't shoot my daughters. We're good.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir. You can cut me off. That's okay.
Yeah. Yep. Hope you have a great day.
Yep. Got it. Go ahead, Daniel. You want to say something?
Oh no, I was just responding like, yeah, I agree. It's the same. I have a kid too, so it
Yep.
changes your perspective on everything.
It does. It really does.
Absolutely.
Well,
Daniel,
Roger.
I wish I
Oh.
would have gotten one of those shirts when I was at TNA, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, this one. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
I know,
order. I'm gonna have to order one.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, Roger, here's your chance to put out all your social medias, put out any upcoming events, anything that you want to. The floor's yours. We're laying out. It's all you. Put over your stuff, man. Get your shit in, kid.
Get your shit over. Get your shit in.
Yes, sir.
Now is the point where when I did this, I did the CBV podcast a couple months ago, and I always give out my digits, right, from my business line, my academy line, and he said, I don't think you want to do that, and I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, no, you probably shouldn't give out your number, and I was like, no, it's good, it's my business line, we'll be good. He's like, okay, and I gave it out, right? So here it goes. 507-722-2776 is my academy line. You can call me or text me. That comes directly to my phone or my wife's phone, same time. And I'll try to respond to you. When that thing dropped, I got 600 text messages in one day.
Good God.
Wow.
So do me a favor. Say that number. RJ, write this number down. I know you could go back and listen, but anyway, go ahead, Kim. Roger that.
Roger that.
What's that number again? So we can promote that.
All right, William. It is 507-722-2776.
Got it. Continue, sir.
And basically, I'm still doing bookings. I'm still available for autograph appearances, shout out videos, training. I do private training. I just did some private training yesterday. Obviously, the group class, we train Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And if anybody's interested in getting into the wrestling business, I'd like to help you. And while I give my number, and obviously I'm hoping that people in the Twin Cities area contact me and come to my wrestling school. But I will say that I have people reach out to me from time to time that live in, say, Texas, that, hey man, I really want to get into the wrestling business. I'm stuck in Texas. I have family here. I can't just up and leave. Do you have any suggestions? And I try to, hey, Booker T's got a great school in Houston, and in San Antonio, you've got Funaki runs a school, and I try to find people. I try to help people out. If I feel like if you want to contribute in this business, there's something for you to do, no matter what.
Last thing I want to ask before you go.
That's amazing.
I forgot. It is. I forgot. Have you ever had a student sign up just because they're starstruck and just want to see Henderson?
I'm sure because we've had people that pay in full. It's $3,500 to train for 1 year. That gets them 1 year of training, right? $3,500. They come to one class and that's it.
What?
I've had it happen. I also had it happen. This is a little off topic, but there was a couple that came through, and it was a good looking couple. Like one of those, you look at them and you go, if they make it, they're going to get hired just on their looks alone. And they were very, very athletic, and they're all over, kind of Instagram famous. And the guy got in the ring, did everything fine, took his first bumps fine. She jumped in the ring and she took her first bump. And I remember she took that first fall and she stood up, and I looked and I could see her eyes. She looked like a deer in headlights. She looked like that hurt way, way worse than I ever thought it was going to. I don't want to do this. And I knew she was done. I was like, she's done. That's it. And I think they came to one more class. She tried it again, but it just wasn't for her. It's, but yeah, I think people, and I have students that have been around now for a long time. They always tell me, like, on day one and for the first couple weeks, first couple months, even sometimes they're a little like starstruck. That's the guy that I watched on TV. That's the guy that I looked up to, or whatever. But eventually, I'm just Ken. I'm Coach. Like,
Yeah.
And that's the way I want it to be. I'd rather have people respect me genuinely than because they feel like they need to give me respect.
No, I do. Well, Anastasia, I want to thank you for coming on our show. I don't know if you remember, we had you on in 2023.
Oh yeah.
That was that our first year, RJ?
Yeah, because we started right around that was the year you retired.
Okay.
It was 23. Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah. Well, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. One more very important thing that I keep forgetting for some reason is I also started my own podcast.
Oh no. What's it called?
It's on YouTube. It's on Stitcher. Anywhere you can get podcasts, we're available. It's called Mike Check with Mr. Anderson. And like I said, it's available on YouTube. And we've been going now for, I think we're on our third month.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, we're all available if you ever want to bring us on. We'll be more happy.
Absolutely 100% would love to have you guys on.
Perfect. And we'll do that. You can do us individually, do us all together. Doesn't make any difference. Our great pal over here, Daniel, he'll probably bring his Earl doll if that's okay. But other than that,
Earl. That's Earl.
Yeah. Well, I know you have class tonight too, so good luck with that. And I'm looking forward to Thursday to check you out. I'm very excited that you're back. It's awesome. I've always loved your work, and I hope you got to cut a good promo too.
I did. I had fun, man. It was really fun. It was, at the end of the day, it was exactly what it needed to be, and I was very happy. And I think it's funny because, like, on my way out, I saw Tommy, who was ultimately, like, he got me my job in WWE, and he got me this booking. Ultimately, he booked me, and he was on his way out the door, and we passed, and I was like, "Hey, man, hope you were happy with that." And he goes, "I don't know, I didn't see it, but." He goes, "But Hunter loved it, so I'm sure we'll be talking."
Awesome.
That's so good.
That is so great. So great.
But he sounded so upset there that he didn't see it.
Daniel, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, I'm sure our fans listening can see that promo this Thursday on Impact, TNA Impact. So, check it out. We'll run those plugs later on after the in our recap, but just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you coming on. And if you ever want to pop back on again, man, I would love it. Always do.
Anytime, man. I really love talking to you guys. I miss you guys.
Back at you, man. You're so welcome, Willie.
Yeah, welcome, Willie. Oh my God.